Wave 6 of the Booster Course Pass was just revealed, but we kind of already know every single track they're going to announce. But to celebrate, I've decided to hinge a bet of everything on those 8 tracks specifically. This one's my favorite though, he could never disappoint me. Next! Hi, I'd like to bet one everything please. So how do I know you haven't already seen the track reveal video? Because it's on my to-do list. That means I haven't done it. Oh, that makes sense. Alright, you're good to go. Next! Alright, broke idiots, I have the Wave 6 final track list in front of me, and in the most confusing possible order, it is DK Mountain, Piranha Plant Cove, Wii Rainbow Road, Rosalina's Ice World.
That's a funny way of pronouncing Piranha Plant Pipeline.
Ah, f me. So what'd you bet the tracks would be? I've lost my f***ing house.
As of November 9th, 2023, we're finally at the end of the Booster Course Pass. After 2 years, 6 waves, and 48 tracks, we have our last 8 to review right here before us. It's a little bit emotional really, this might truly be it for Mario Kart 8, nearly 10 years after its release. We all thought we had the track selection well and truly figured out this time based on leaks, data mines, and just plain logic, but the Tour original Piranha Plant Pipeline was strangely absent and replaced with Rosalina's Ice World of all things. Though overall, I think this is the lineup I've been most excited for any of these. Tour Avanti is pretty decent. I don't know why it's the only one to be named using the country's actual language, which translates to like Roma Head, I guess. It has some decent jumps and trick spots, a nice view of the night sky. It's at least a bit more visually distinct than most of the tour cities. I wouldn't say it's vibrant, but it's definitely chill and quite elegant, I think is the best word. Graphically, it's one of the best looking of the tour cities. Not perfect, but the complexity of this one in its hazards and track layout definitely make a decent impression. It does get a bit repetitive with a decent bit of emptiness and reusing set pieces like the roundabout and the Colosseum, but at least the end with the chain chomps is quite a bit of fun. But screw the tour courses this time round, because we got GCN DK Mountain, a much beloved track from Mario Kart Wii, Double Dash. Yeah, this one was definitely chosen, once again, to favour the Mario Kart Wii retro track fans, as it appeared in that game as a retro course, but has received a very nice glow up I think. I always enjoyed this course, but upon replay, it was a bit empty at times and didn't provide the nicest view. You could see the edge of the world from the top, but now, wow, it's actually quite a nice view. They've actually got textures in a naturalistic course. This is the greatest character arc of all time. The mountain has some molten core texturing going on within it. The jumps have now been chiseled into the mountain itself to give it a fresh new feel as they don't send you way too high into the air like we did. There are DK barrels with bananas in them littered everywhere, maintained half pipes from the Wii remake, boulders as usual, and the gap cut here does indeed remain if you thought it didn't with a fence blocking it, but if you angle it up like this, you can clear it easily. And of course, the infamous Mario Kart bridge returns at the end as a staple of the track, missing the tour handrails as it should. Fuck safety. I quite like this course a decent bit and think it got a great remake, even if I thought maybe Dino Jungle could have been a more challenging alternative with its stage hazards. But DK Mountain proved its worth to me as a chill, yet enthralling, atmospheric mountain descent with a few boulders and harsh turns to keep you a bit on your toes. So then why does Wii Daisy Circuit of all things come after it? This is even less challenging than DK Mountain is. I'm as big a fan of the original Wii courses as the next guy, but I don't know how highly Daisy Circuit ranks on that list. It is absolutely an adorably charming track visually, with a suitable orange color palette adorned in its sunset setting, and delightful shipping fuel for Daisy and Luigi with their glorious bronze statues. This track is full of personality. As a fan of these two characters, probably as my number 1 and 2 favorite Mario characters ever, and with a banger song, I can't help but have a soft spot for this track for giving some rare Daisy love. However, the track layout itself isn't anything too special at all. It's decent for a circuit track with some lovely views, but it's essentially all in its aesthetics. It has some added booster pads around the lighthouse here, and I like the returning opportunity to stay on the raised corner to take a tighter turn near the finish line, but otherwise it's a very basic layout. Not even its fantastic style and theme can save it from bare bones texturing and graphical detail in the buildings, which puts a bit of a damper on a track that relies so heavily on its art direction. It doesn't affect it that badly, especially when the course's arrangement lifts it so hard with some whimsical flute string harmony. It's pure magic what this arrangement does. I'm glad throughout the entire Booster Course Pass, the music team has sustained some sky-high expectations through to the end. Speaking of high expectations, Piranha Plant Cove is probably my most anticipated course of this entire wave. Do not get me wrong, I love Wii Rainbow Road, and recently awoke some deep nostalgia for that track that lay dormant until this hype storm reawakened it, but I can play the original whenever I want. Seeing this debut earlier this year, I could not wait for the ultimate version of this track to come to this game, both graphically enhanced and combining all three crazy lap adventures it set out with in Tour. I'm a staunch defender of Dolphin Shoals as someone who loves swimming, surfing, the beach, this entire aesthetic, but this truly evolves on the potential of that track, especially with 3 distinct laps each time through, the only non-city course to execute this feature, and it executes it with such finesse. Barely a second of bland empty road to drive along because along comes the next thing to throw you into. A towering island over the cove, a glide over the water that'll dunk you back into the world of these underwater piranha plant ruins. And those ancient mysterious ruins to climb all around have countless Mario enemies at guard, including thwomps, piranha plants, morays, jelly beams, bulbas, cheap jeeps, and clampies. We've had action-packed themes with Ninja Hideaway, silliness with Sky High Sundae and Squeaky Clean Sprint, festivity with Merry Mountain, fun and nostalgia with Yoshi's Island, and Piranha Plant Cove ends it all with a sense of mystique and adventure with music that only supplements that. I love Lap 3 in particular as you dive deep under the ruins to see a shipwreck, worshipping statues of Petey Piranha, and the territorial Moray taking snaps at you to recreate the horror of Mario 64. This course absolutely did not disappoint, and I'm so happy to say that it looks visually fantastic to boot. We've really come so far for the Booster Course Pass to assuage my fears of a graphical disaster. Now back in the intermission segment, once again, we've got the non-course content that gets added each time. Starting off, we have this list of random small but cool things, with balance changes of the invincibility stat for certain characters, lessening the time for item box respawns, again for some reason, lessening the frequency of online 200cc and mirror races, thank you, and adding room IDs so adding friends is not required to play online, perfect for streaming, and a music player. Pretty cool, but it should definitely just be on Spotify, but hey, it's something I guess. They also nerfed the item bagging by giving you crap items if you stop and wait, just sitting there to bring it up forward, which is stupid, so good that they nerfed it. Then for the big stuff, we got 17 Mii racing suits, including a Daisy one through amiibo use to fit the rest, with all the rest having unique animations. This one didn't need to happen though. But the biggest addition of all is of course the return of Diddy Kong and Funky Kong in our last 2 character slots, rounding out the roster to hold everything Mario Kart Wii did and more. Plus, the addition of Pauline and Peachette. So Diddy and Funky of course have some wonderful trick animations. Diddy not being prioritized over so many other characters before him was so wrong. And Funky being here as a Mario Kart icon is perfect. He's so silly and was the meta pick for Mario Kart Wii, a true legend. Now with a surfboard too. Then there's Pauline, a wonderful addition to the cast after her popularity rose with her inclusion in the mainline 3D Mario series with Odyssey. But they didn't just put her in here for the limited female Mario representation there is. No, they really focused up her personality as a singer here, as she sings lines from Jump Up Superstar during her tricks, which is awesome. They didn't just port the animations for these characters right from Tour, they gave them so much personality here to fit in, and I couldn't be happier with the selection of characters. And Peachette's here too. Now kicking it back to the courses, we're into the Spiny Cup first with Tour Madrid Drive. I did not have high expectations for this one, but it's actually pretty cool, and maybe even better than Rome Avanti. It's close as it looks so stylistically distinct from so many other modern cityscape daytime courses. But what it does have is a less confusing track layout in my opinion, with less blind and windy turns and far more attractions to visit. The first lap holds a station and museum, the museum even with its own theme and a piranha plant bursting through the painting with countless other adorable Mario artworks. We got a few random straightaways and boring roads here and there, but also a huge plaza with a sleeping wiggler with a soccer stadium to end it off. Overall, a pleasant surprise for a decent course that's quite hard to absorb fully due to just how stuffed we are with tour cities, this being the 14th but final one of the Booster Course Pass. I think having 2 waves in a row with 3 each really pushed my limits with these in the end. 3DS Rosalina's Ice World shocks its way into our next course slot, a track I never actually minded all too much. The music and theming have always, once again, held a soft spot in my heart. I have quite a simple brain, I see Mario Galaxy I like. It's definitely not the most interesting ice-themed course, and something Rosalina-themed could have done far more, but I've always liked snow-themed courses a lot. It introduces half pipes before the jump here, which even allow you to bypass the cutoff to the top route that occurs in laps 2 and 3 if you use them for a hefty speed boost at the right angle. Oh, and there's also a new shortcut ramp near the end. Graphically, it looks pretty nice. The Booster Course Pass has never really struggled at all with snow courses. Overall, it's got some decent obstacles about it, but it can be quite tightly packed at times, especially now with 12 players. And the last area is quite bland, even if I personally enjoy the overall style of the track. Now, SNES Bowser Castle 3. Super Mario Kart tracks have surprisingly never received a glow up like this one, with Super Circuit tracks getting their similarly flat tracks favoured more for evolution in Mario Kart 8. So it's wonderful to see these previously faithful remakes get treated with a bit more effort to revitalise them for the current generation, with a crazy rework to the design of this course. Anti-gravity implemented up a giant lava fall, towering stone walls giving structure to the whole thing, with fireballs and thwomps as the castle defenders. Going from its source material, it's a fantastic glow up, with elevation and innovation wherever possible, and visually it's absolutely at base game level. But as a standalone course, it's not revolutionary or anything, but a solid glow up. So now, speaking of glowing, Wii Rainbow Road. Where do I start with this one? In my childhood, this was the hardest Mario Kart track ever. Mario Kart Wii was my main childhood Mario Kart. Even if I grew up with DS and 7 around me, this was the big one for those formative young years. I yearned for the day I could finally unlock all the characters, but was crap at the game because I was 7 years old. Wii Rainbow Road was the final gauntlet of the game. I could barely place any higher than 12th, falling through all the unguarded twists and holes scattered all over, consistently screwing up the half pipe flip. This shit was impossible, but over the years I finally unlocked all the characters and could semi-competently complete this course. I got better and better until Mario Kart Wii faded off the radar and I jumped to Mario Kart 8, the big main Mario Kart of the last decade, the one of my teenage years to now, early adulthood. I've loved this game and put so many hours into it. Some of my best gaming memories are of course with this staple of my Nintendo Switch collection. I think my 4th most played game on it, only topped by my crippling Splatoon obsession and my desire to beat people up. Over all those years, my appreciation for Wii Rainbow Road only grew further and further, until now where I think I have to say, this is my favourite Rainbow Road. 3DS dazzled me with its big, huge adventure for a while, but I forgot just how much that final trial of Mario Kart Wii meant to me. How wonderful I thought it would be to fly through that course now, hundreds of hours later, thousands through so many video games since those early days, as Mario Kart Wii lays a relic of the distant past. So it feels fitting to cap off Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, my favourite Mario Kart of all time, with that marker of skill I always went back to finally and absolutely clear it and fly through all the beauty it has to offer once and for all, to be able to enjoy to its fullest now in a phenomenal remake. I can barely put into words how this remake feels, but I can try. From its mere opening, this track hit me. Seeing the majestic half-pipe flips sitting before me at the starting line, beckoning me toward it with a sleek rainbow chrome finish across the track. I wasn't sold on the tiley design of the track at first, but it suits quite well blending this course into the Mario Kart 8 style. The track does that super well all around, with the synthy notes of 8's Rainbow Road over the Wii theme, as it keeps everything that made the original so special, especially the good Galaxy motif hidden away in there. Building further upon that, we have the same track layout as before, but now suitably entirely in anti-gravity, adding a more chaotic layer of tension and challenge as you slam and spin all around the other racers, going neck and neck to see who can execute the tall order of this course. You can even manipulate it to clear the jumps around this middle section, but it's still quite tough without enough speed. An element I thought would be compromised for sure would be the meteor effect as you fall back toward the earth below, which mind you, looks fantastic alongside all the other added spacey visuals, but they re-implemented it for a second before Lachie picks you up. Oh, and the musical build-up still lines up perfectly as you zoom through the beautiful launch star, bringing all the chills of the years of failed attempts right back as you continue to clear this interstellar spectacle. It's here that on my first time playing this remake, a lot of emotions hit me all at once. Just that swell of the music combined with the previously impossible flip between the split track, it was a joy to run through right to the end. This is the perfect end to the Booster Course Pass and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as a whole. It really shows how far we've come, at least to me, and I'm sure a lot of you out there too. Well, That's officially the end of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. We now officially have 96 tracks in the game, which of course means I'm probably going to do something really stupid to celebrate. Something very stupid. The end of the Booster Course Pass here would have surprised me a lot back when Wave 1 came out. Back then I was not impressed with what we got, but it's come decently far. They actually found the Mario Kart 8 asset folder and textured things, improving progressively as the waves went on. They certainly never got to certain levels of base game quality and course design with driving on walls and upside down, but something like Piranha Cove can genuinely beat out Mario Kart 8 originals like Dolphin Shoals. And we didn't just get tracks with the pass, we got a continuous stream of new content with every wave, with balance updates, new stats to mess with, custom item selection, a music player, and new characters that were actually better than most others chosen before them, not looking at any in particular. In the end, I was certainly happy we got it rather than nothing at all. If the level of quality of Wave 1 persisted throughout, I probably wouldn't want any of it. That wave is so fucking ugly that it would retroactively ruin the greatness of Mario Kart 8 as a whole, with half the tracks being untextured, boring bullcrap whenever playing online. But the track selection grew to include a slew of fan favorites and tons more requested features, so as a whole, I was really happy to see it all come around. They look mostly good to great graphically now. It was very, very rare to see the past match base game visual quality, but for adding 48 tracks so quickly, and for pretty cheap, with countless other features and free access to the tracks online, I think the price really did grow to justify itself. I think we ended all of Mario Kart 8 on a really positive note. I've heard talk that it's impossible to top this game now, with a ridiculous 24 cups contained in one package. But, even though the price justified itself for the Booster Course Pass, a fully new game of Mario Kart 8 base game quality tracks would be more than appreciated for most, even if they just do 32 tracks again as per the previous standard. But we better not have to wait a decade for Diddy Kong again, in favor of some green bronze Luigi bullshit and Baby Goomba. As for when we could see that next future Mario Kart release, well, we might just be done for a while. Or, who knows, we might just get Mario Kart 9, or 10, or whatever the hell it'll be called, launching with the next Nintendo system in holiday 2024. I'd even bet more everything on it.